Hey, today we're going back inside the tackle box with this old vintage tackle box, the Up North edition. So what do we mean when we say Up North? Well, it's not just because it's one of these nice old vintage Plano 7300 boxes. Wonderful Plano, Illinois. But more because the lures inside are typically used when you're going states north, northern Illinois through Wisconsin, Minnesota, northern Iowa, northern Michigan, and then, of course, Canada. So as we get to the top of the box here, we've got some pike size, glide, and stick baits here. Jerk type baits to go through there with good sized treble hooks on them suckers. Then we've got these spoons. This one had the red and white finish, but it was sanded off, and maybe because it took as many hits as this guy here. You look at that red and white when it's been through the war with that snag-free type hook. And the steel leaders. You always want to have the steel leaders that go to your heavy-duty hardware whenever you're fishing the toothy critters so you don't get bit off. Then we've got the sucker baitfish minnow type hook. So you got the pin at the top there. Two large hooks at the bottom. Run it through the bait. Guys will use that for the live ones and the dead ones. Up here we've got some examples of some minnow baits. We got the LNS Miro minnow. Got another jointed one down here. One of my father-in-law's favorite minnow spins. Number 2 Comet Mepps minnow. As we move across, we've got some, got one rooster tail and a couple of no-name spinners in there. And we've got some hooks for the plastics down below. And of course, if you need to do any reel repair or maintenance on the road while you're out on your trip, there's some old fishing reel grease. And you got this mud bugger troller right back here. It's got those nice little spinners added attractant on the side. A couple of treble hooks. Got the hardware in the back to hook it up for trolling or casting. Those typically were trolled by guys as they're going covering water. In the middle row, we've got some of Uncle Doug's favorite specials, starting with the Mepps Giant Muskie Killer and the gold with the yellow deer hair. That is a beauty right there. This guy, I know it caught him a lot of fish. Gave it to my son, so it's in the collection. It's got the dual treble hooks. Next to him, he said if you don't catch them on the Mepps, then you gotta have the Magnum Normark Rapala original floaters. Pride and Joy at Finland, the original wraps. Got the silver black. Got the golden black over here. Those got some serious treble hooks on there to stick the fish. They got some witness marks on them also, but not horrible. Next to it, we got this large casting spoon in a fish type shape. You guys can see that. There's the hardware on top. And that beauty, we can bring it into focus. That is the Natural Expert Bait Company's Bayfield Spoon from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And it has got a serious treble hook to get in some trouble. Oh, moving across, we got the Paw Paw Pikey minnow over here. And the jointed bottle and the red and white. Paint's chipping and blistering a little bit, but that guy's got some age and miles on him. You can see all the teeth marks all the way front to back. Those 3 hooks have seen some action and seen some fish. If they could tell you some tales, they probably would. Over here we got a Dress Johnson spoon. It's got the deer hair on that sucker. You see the old Johnson logo stamped in there underneath. Got the weedless setup for the hooks. Tuck them underneath the point of the hook. Fire them out. Then you've got your live bait and your worm rigs next to it here. This one definitely looks like either a worm or minnow style setup. hooking on the front and the back. And like I say, these all look hand poured, the ones I've got. I've got the weed guard on this. You see the lead in the middle, that was painted one time. Well, there's some of the stock original ones the guy also pointed that he poured, probably out in the garage and stuff. Then you've got some creature worms over here with and without legs. A couple, 2, 3 different colors in there. Notice the size. I mean, just larger stuff for larger fish. Speaking of that, we got the large spoons down here. Got the old red and white Daredevil. You got the chrome back. Daredevil, Detroit, USA, don't you know? Got the big hook. Some teeth marks on there to boot. You got the red eye wobbler and the gold. Then you have the copper backed, smaller. Also a Daredevil spoon. In the back, my father-in-law said you never leave home for Canada without this sucker. That's his 5 of diamonds. And he's not talking about playing cards, kids. Gotta have the Daredevil and the 5 of diamonds if you're going up north to catch pike and muskie. Then we have one more spoon. It is not a Daredevil though. That is a Len Thompson number 2. So got different sizes covered. And we've got some Marathon spinners with the gold long shank hook and some of the bronze. You see the Marathon stamping in there, patrolling your live bait rigs. They make those styles for, most of the ones we have examples are for minnow, but they also make for the worms. And we've got this nickel one also. That one's got a little more patina to it. Different sizes. We even got the smaller little guys in there for that. And moving on, we've got some fluted inline spinners in the fluted style. Dealing with the hardware, that old brass type heavy duty snaps. You got a very serious hook with hand tied black bucktail dyed. Got that nice spinner there. And then we got the little guy underneath. You want to go a little bit smaller, a little downsized. Use the kidney shape. Red with the silver back. You can see the weight to that one. It's a weighted head and body with the hair and the feather tied to it. And we've got some hand-tied fly specials. You guys like the fly fish up there too. You got the red, white, and blue American Special. Then we've got a minnow imitator there. It's got a long shank on that hook and a small one up front. My fingers are holding. So you really stick those fish. There's another hand-tied special in the garage with the orange, reddish-orange deer hair, lead head. Definitely for getting down and dirty. So we said fluted on these Fluger type spinners. What we're talking about is if you look at that brass type hardware and that type spinner. Look at that beautiful antique vintage feather hook dressed treble on the back, and we've got some unweighted spinners also with vintage feather. And then we've got some fly specials there. We got the black bucktail. We got the flash with the black and yellow. We got the orange with the body tied on it. I mean, those are like Studio 54 type flies for up north. Really get the fish's attention. Then moving along to the bottom, we got some hardware and some software. We got the old Cycloid Dacron fishing line, Belvedere, Illinois, and J.C. Higgins Dacron nylon casting. And the black weathered spool for that. That one's seen some days. We got the Lazy Ike knockoff in the custom red and silver paint job. Another shout out to my father-in-law. The Sears nickel-plated Norway hooks in the trebles. Said if they sold groceries, the man wouldn't shop anywhere else. And down here we got the Lazy Ike, still in the package. Just show up at Palmita Sports for $1.28. You can find them probably somewhere along the lines with this Daredevil, still in the package. Detroit, Michigan, another shout out. $2.89 though. That one's the name brand, higher end spoon, the Eppinger Daredevil, 3/5 of an ounce nickel. Then underneath we've got our, you can see we've got the other leaders still in the package, the Steel-On Berkeleys, more Dacron, and some serious live bait hooks here from the Worth Company. We've got 2 different sizes, 3 different hooks. For the big pike hook, we got the number 10 for a quarter, number 774 hook, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Another number 10, and then over here we got the size 4 in the 7724 model, you know, in case you need to use the big live bait. Maybe you're spinning the smaller stuff, okay, through the water here with these pre-rigged spinners. We got the Free Spin-O-Matic here. Mille Lacs Manufacturing. It's the old Reliable. Again, with the long shank hook. They make them in 2 different styles. Well, we also got the Weller pike and bass hook. Very successful killer for bass, pike, pickerel, muskie, and large trout. Sioux City, Iowa. Again, you can find these in Department 4 for 18 cents. Or also, you can find the Prescott spinner in Department 4 for 28 cents. That's from Mankato or Mankato, Minnesota. Please forgive me. I've never been there. These are unequaled for bass, pike, and pickerel. And you can see the old logo hammered on the spinner. So you don't forget, you're fishing with the Prescott Manufacturing spinner. And then we've got some old originals. Got another free spin. But look at the old Eagle Claw. Copper on the back. And the flip didn't work. You got the silver on the front. And that is not working. There it is. You got the nickel on the front, copper on the back. 2-way spinners, casting, trolling, fly rod, fishing, whatever you need. Eagle Claw's got you covered for those. Some hand-tied Eagle Claw Snells. Montserrat, Wisconsin, the Wright and Gill Company. And no up north tackle box would be complete without your trusty weight. Of course, it's not for trade, but it sure is so your friends can't call you a liar. Thanks for joining us today. This old vintage tackle box. I hope you enjoyed yourselves.